Hi everyone, I'm Cheryl and welcome to the Sewing Room channel, and this is your tip of the week. About a year and a half ago, we moved into a new house, and I haven't had a lot of time to decorate or kind of fix everything the way I like it. And one of the problem areas are my bathrooms. They're just sort of thrown together, nothing's coordinated in there, and I don't really have time to go shopping for stuff. So I've been looking at what I have as far as towels go and how I could fix them up so that they looked more presentable. So this pink one is a towel that has never been used. It's been sitting on my shelf for quite a few years and I haven't done anything with it, and I decided that it's time. So this is brand new. This towel is about a year and a half old. And this poor little towel down here is 8 to 10 years old. So how can I address each one of these so they look really nice but don't really tell anybody how old they are? So on this towel, I want to cover up this band. I don't like it. So I've cut some fabric that's wide enough to cover it up. Now I've selected a bright color because this towel looks really bright. So it all looks very new. So I've cut it wide enough, but I added on a little extra width, and then I'm going to fold the edges over like this and press. Now at each end of your strip, you want to fold it over and press the ends also. Now take it and wrap it around to the back, and I would pin it down back there, and then go ahead and pin your strip going all the way across. Then when you stitch it, you have a choice of using a straight stitch, which I would use on the end. I would do a straight stitch along here. Or you could use a decorative stitch along here. You can use one of your applique stitches or even a satin stitch. But either stitch you find or you choose is going to look really pretty on this. Now let me show you something else you could do. You could take some lace like this. So cut your piece this width and then put a piece of lace. I think this is about half inch, maybe 5/8 inch wide lace. Stitch it on each side, and then at each end, fold it under and press, and then wrap it around to the back on the side, and then you would have a towel that looks like this. Now this lace adds more femininity to the towel. Now this is a deep emerald green towel. Now it still has a lot of color in it because I've only been using it on and off for about a year and a half. So I had a little bit of trouble finding fabrics in my stash. I was determined I'm going to use up some of my fabric. I didn't want to go out and buy more fabric. So what you want to do is look for colors that harmonize with this towel. And I found this print, and also this little green also went with it really well. So the first thing you want to do is stitch the little band here, the check fabric. Stitch it together about 1/4 inch, and then press this seam towards whichever is your darkest fabric. Press this edge of the top piece about 1/4 inch. So when you place it down, it will fill in this band plus cover the lower edge. So on the lower edge of this print here, I rolled it under twice, about 1/4 inch, and stitched it straight across. Now towels, you'll notice this one, they're always wavy. They're never straight across. So I always like to place it a little bit below the towel. And then of course, wrap your sides around to the back as demonstrated in the others. And then stitch it along your sides and up at the top of the band and here. Now, here's my old grungy towel. I still use them. They're kind of my favorites. I like the color, but they are really faded. But I really want to cover this part up. So let me show you some choices. But the choices you make sure they're dull. they're not bright colors, because if you put a bright color on this band, it's going to make your towel look very, very old. So to dress these towels up just a little bit, I selected this lace because it looks a little old. So it goes with this older towel, but yet at the same time, it makes it look really nice and very decorative. Now, when you're working with lace, you of course want to fold the edges under because they're really, really straggly. I would cut them straight, maybe even do a zigzag stitch across it. Fold them under and then go to your sides and then fold it around to the back. Pin everything down, and then I would not stitch on the edge of this. You can if you want to. I think I'll come in here and stitch right along here on this side and on this side. Now I really like this one. This has no ribbon in it, so it's not quite as frilly, I guess you would say. And it's got this little scalloped edge down here. So again, you would turn your side edges under like you did on the other ones. And then I would stitch up at the top in here, and then not on top of the scallops, but just right above the scallop edges. Now, supposing you like this band, you could take a narrower lace trim and place it on each side of the band and then stitch it down. So no matter what shape your towels are in, there are simple things that you can do that are not very expensive to kind of brighten them up and make them a little more decorative. I have many tips of the week. I think I have close to 90 of them now. And they're very helpful for those of you who are a beginner. So I'm going to go over some of those previous tips that I have released and encourage you to review them. Or maybe it's been a long time since you've sewn and you know you need a review. So I do have a separate tip of the week tutorial on how to use the twin needle. It's really important that you know how to thread your machine. And that tip of the week is my episode 1, my very first one. Now, as I'm talking about these different tips, they are listed below your YouTube screen in the description section. This is my buttonhole attachment. Now, yours might look different because all sewing machine manufacturers, they all have their presser feet look a little different from each other. And that particular tip of the week is episode number 2, talking about the buttonhole attachment. Now, if you don't know what an overcast stitch is, those are stitches used to bind the raw edges of your fabric in a seam. If you have a computerized sewing machine or a fairly new mechanical sewing machine, they all have overcast stitches. So those overcast stitches are in episode number 7. Also, in my episode number 11, I go over common sewing machine problems and some of the first things you should look at on your machine, because maybe you don't have to make a trip to the repair guy. Almost every day I get a viewer who asks me, I don't know how to cut fabric. So in episode number 13, I demonstrate various cutting techniques. And if you don't know how to use your hemming stitch, in episode 24, I go over a variety of ways to hem your clothing. In episode 22, I go over needles and threads. Almost every day, I get asked about what needles should I use, what kind of threads should I use, and so I, in that episode, take some of the mystery out of needles and threads. And in episode 10, I give you some suggestions on how to set up a sewing notes notebook. I have so much information in there, I really need to get a larger notebook, but I go over what kind of things I recommend that you put in it. You can also keep maybe favorite patterns that you've learned how to draw on my channel. All of that could go in there, and it's right there next to your sewing machine. Well, I hope you enjoyed this tip of the week and that you learned something new. Now, don't forget, all of the links are listed below your YouTube screen. Also, if you want other ideas for decorating kitchen towels, I have a lot of those. And so all of that information will be listed below your YouTube screen. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram and check out my Facebook page. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time, and happy sewing. If you like the Sewing Room channel, one of the best ways to show your support is to subscribe by clicking on that red subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. And don't forget to click on share to share this video with your friends. And make sure you click on the bell so you receive notifications for all my new videos. I'm Cheryl. This is Manny, and this is Scotty. See you next time.